that team shows up and they play for 4 quarters, so we don't take that win lightly as a talented young team. Yeah, Josh is a good player, but after I watched the tape, I have a better idea of how Casey played. But from what I saw from the sidelines, he competed. He competed. He showed up with that 1 day of practice, and I thought for that he played well. Well, you never know. You never know if they're going to be into the game or if they're going to play for his brother, or you just don't know how they're going to respond. But he wanted to play and be here with his teammates, and I thought he helped us. No, I just treated it as normal. On game day, I don't want to change anybody's routine. I want to bring anything up, that he's been dealing with all week. It was just all ball.
How was he during the game? Was he just regular?
To me, yeah, he was regular. And I think it was good. It was good for him to be in the game because, he don't have to think about, the past and his brother and the funeral and all that. I thought he was having fun out there with his teammates. It's difficult for a lot of quarterbacks to go up against those pass rushers, especially if you throw it as much as Cleveland was throwing it. So I thought those guys, they didn't hit him a lot, but they got after him a little bit and made him step up in the pocket and just kind of threw the timing off in their passing game. So.
Coach, that's the way the defense closed it out with those 2 turnovers late in the red zone. I mean, I know they hadn't gotten one all game, but they finally came. What are your thoughts on the way they closed it out?
I love the way they closed it out. They finished the game. And smart, we got down. Got the interception, we got down. Game's over. Well, I mean, no one ever flinched. We 0-4, we still have a lot of football left, a lot of football in front of us, and that's the way we've always looked at it. So to be in this position doesn't surprise me at all because the guys work hard and they're committed to the process. And like I say, they never stop believing.
Coach, how difficult was the defense defending against a young quarterback like Deshaun Kaiser and moving around being as mobile as he was today?
He's a talented young man. He has a good deep ball. He can move around in the pocket, like you said, and they present a lot of problems with their option and run-read game. So, he's talented. And anytime you have to face a quarterback with that type of versatility, it's a lot of preparation. So I take my hat off to Gus Bradley and his staff because, it took a lot of work to get that done.
Coach Phil had over 200 yards in the first half back-to-back games. Was that a focal point?
Yeah, because they like to play base to our 3 wides, and when I say base, I mean they leave 3 linebackers on the field. And so, as long as those 3 linebackers on the field, I felt like we had better matchups in the passing game. What was that?
Coach, what did you tell your team at halftime? You're up 9-7, but it seemed like you dominated pretty much in the first half.
We just had to go back out and finish the game. And, we wanted desperately to get the ball in the end zone. I don't like kicking that many field goals today. We had a new kicker. Wasn't any reason to test him that many times, but we did. But, we wanted to get the ball in the end zone, and that was about it. We was playing pretty good football. Time, possession, yards, the whole 9, but we just want to get the ball in the end zone.
Speaking of the kicker, how did you feel that Travis did that?
He did fine. He missed his first kick, and to his credit, he bounced back, and he finished the game strong. Well, we had a chance to make a play on one, and we didn't come down with the ball. And at other times, Cleveland just played. They out-executed us.
Were you surprised that you guys weren't able to move the ball better on the ground, especially early in the game?
No, that team is one of the tops in the league versus the rush. That's something they've improved in a lot, from over the last couple of years playing against that team. So we knew it was going to be hard running on the ground. That's why when they left the 3 linebackers in the game, we put our 3 wideouts out on the field. We knew we could pass it, and that's why we were passing the ball a lot in the first half. But they've been salty against the run all year except for the last week.
You guys were able to get the ball to Hunter and Gates a lot. Is that something you knew matchup-wise? You like that?
In the soft zones that they play, we knew we could get our guys in positions to catch the ball and create run after catch. They're giving up like 6.5 yards after the catch, so we knew we could find spots in that soft zone. So we was kind of taking what they were giving us. I believe at the end of the day, we ended up rushing for over 4 carries. So the running game did get efficient, but we were pretty much taking what they were giving us.
Anthony, you got 2 more turnovers today. You've had
10, the last 2 games.
Yeah. What's been the difference over these last 3 or 4 games versus what was going on earlier in the year where you weren't getting it?
Well, I think guys are more familiar with the scheme, and they're in position. They're playing faster, and they're making plays. They're reacting, and so that's kind of what this whole philosophy is about: is getting guys that you don't do a whole lot, but what you do, you get really good at. And right now, they're playing pretty good.
Also playing from ahead, does that help?
Absolutely. You know, when you play from ahead, you can turn those pass rushers loose. Teams are not trying to pound you with the running game all day.
Anthony, what went into the decision to put Nick on the IR, and how close was it?
Well, you know, the game in Dallas, I believe if that had been a close game, we would have lost because of our kicking situation. And I just couldn't put 52 people back in that position again. You know, if he's not 100% and can't go out and kick, then we had to make the move. And I thought we made the best move for our organization. Well, he's a competitor. He wanted to play. He wanted to kick. He wanted to work through it. I mean, they all do, you know. But, you know, we had to make that decision. It was tough.
Anthony, you're not surprised getting back to 500. Are you surprised that you guys are tied for first place?
Well, you know, in this league, it's so much parity. Anybody can win on any given Sunday. So we knew some of these guys were going to come back to us. And we just had to stay the course.
How do you keep the room from being different? I know you probably want the same attitude after 0-4 that you wanted at 6-6. How do you keep that room the same?
Well, our communication is pretty good. You know, it's you know, you ask our guys, you know, what are we trying to do and how are we trying to get there? They can tell you. You know, there is clarity, so we just keep re-emphasizing it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right.
Yes, do you know where Claire is? Philip.
Phil, you guys have come all the way back now from 0-4 to be at 6-6 now, tied for first place. What's your thoughts on that, and then just your thoughts going forward down the stretch?
Yeah, well, we've certainly come a long way from 0-4. We've dug ourselves just back to above ground. It was a deep hole. We still have work to do, though. But it's exciting to know that it looks like now there's 3 teams at 6-6 in the division, with 4 games to play. So it's what you if somebody would have said, hey, look, you're going to be knotted up with KC and Oakland with 4 games to play to win the AFC West. If they'd have said that in May, you can take it or you can play the season out. We probably took it. Based on the previous years, you got a chance. We play both those teams. We have Washington coming in here next week, though. So we got to keep taking one game at a time. But when you start 0-4 and the division leader starts 5-0, you go, ooh, me, it's going to be tough to even have a chance. But here we are with a chance. We just got to keep a very narrow focus.
Hey, Phil, can you take us through the first few drives because it seemed like you guys were moving the ball, but you only settled for 3 instead of 4.
Yeah, well, credit to Cleveland there. They're able to get a stop down there on 3rd and goals. One time before 3rd and goal, but then a couple times down in there. We've punted one time down 8 quarters, so it's a pretty good stretch we're on. But we certainly would have liked to get touchdowns there. We missed the 1 field goal and then had 3, so there's a potential for 28 points there in that first half that we didn't get. Credit to them. I mean, yeah, we can make those plays. I can make a better throw on the one. I missed Keenan. I just lost vision of where the corner was on the first 3rd and 2 before we missed the field goal. And then, he had a contested catch. The guy made a good play. I know Keenan's going to say he can bring that one in, and then a couple other just misses. So those are things that are good to get corrected when you win and while you win. I think that's the biggest thing is now we've now won, however many, 6 of our last 8, I think, something like that. And we're able to make these corrections while we're winning instead of answering why those things are costing us games.
Philip, were you surprised the way the locker room kind of stayed through 0-4?
I wasn't, only because, Dan, we've been through it before. Not this group, but enough guys on this team have been in the league long enough to know that there's stretches where it can get bumpy and rocky. And then the guys that have been here, we've been through it plenty of times. So, and I'm not saying that the veteran players should take credit for that, but I think it starts with the top. It starts with Coach Lynn. I do think the veterans help that, and the young guys really are just hungry and willing to, hey, just tell us what to do, and we want to go do right. And so we just kept our head down and kept going. I think because it was 0-4 is 0-4, but it was a different kind of 0-4. It was a 0-4 that very well could have been a 3-1. So we knew that we were capable. It wasn't a 0-4, in the tank 0-4 of, ooh, we're not very good. And so now we've dug ourselves again back to 500. 6-6, I didn't know it could feel that good. But hopefully now we can, again, we got to keep the gas pedal down and keep that narrow focus.
You said, I think in Oakland, you said you didn't know 2-4 could feel this good. I mean, has it been this kind of a crazy first 12 games here for you?
It has been. It has been, but I think now, and I think it's key. I am excited right now. I mean, you can probably tell, but I think it's key not to get too excited that we've really done something. But it's exciting to be in the month of December and have everything in front of us, have a lot on the line. It's been a handful of years, and it used to be my first few years starting. I just thought that's what happened. You got into the December and you made a run in the playoffs and you had a chance. And it happened in 06 and 07 and 08 and 09. I was like, oh, this is great. You get to play in January. This is awesome. And then it's been a quiet December and January for, all but one time in the last 8 years. So it's exciting to have a meaningful December, and we got to make sure that we take care of business starting on December 10th.
Did you get a chance to talk to Casey at all? I mean,
Briefly. I know I was able to send him a note, when it first happened, or when we first found out. And you just know guys are flooding him with and talking to him. And you kind of leave his closest buddies on the team. You just don't want to wear him out. He's getting talked to all the time. But I was able to send him a note, and just tell him today. I think he addressed everybody really yesterday. And A-Land mentioned something just now in the locker room. I think Casey is thankful, and we're certainly thankful for him as a brother. But losing a brother, I can't imagine. But he's thankful for the brotherhood we have in the locker room. He's a guy that really embraces that, being a teammate and being a group of brothers. I know the DBs are tight, but it really is a close team, a neat team to be a part of. And Casey really appreciates that, and so I know it was probably somewhat helpful for him to be around the guys again.
Can you talk about the offensive line, the protection they've been giving you, and obviously you wouldn't be where you are right now if it wasn't for them?
Yeah, no, the guys up front are doing great. I think where we are sack-wise, from a pass protection standpoint, the pace we're on in comparison to the handful of years previously is unbelievable. And again, that's a credit to the guys. That's a credit to a lot of things. We haven't had near as many injuries, and then a credit to the guys up front, the way they're playing. We've done enough good things in a run game, and that's continuing to improve. And it's been good. No, those guys have been key, and they love it. And we have guys too on the outside that are separating and getting open in a hurry. Keenan had another big day. That's 3 games in a row, over 10 catches, and Travis, the big play before the half, I thought was huge. We get the sack fumble that thank goodness we recover, and then that next play you bust for 40, and then that drive before the half and the drive to start the third quarter won the game. And those were we talk about it all the time, scoring at the end of the half and scoring to start the third when you get the ball. And we scored 10 points without Cleveland's offense getting on the field, and that ended up being the difference in the game.
So if you took a shot at like lower body or a little bit, how are you?
Yeah, I just got caught right on the top of my hip, and it was fine. It was just one of those that gets you. The initial strike gets you, but no, I'll be fine.
Coach Lynn had mentioned that the Browns were number 1 against the rush, in the league, 0-11. And what did you think of them defensively? I mean, they haven't won a game yet. They did pretty well against you guys, except for you guys drove the ball but didn't get in the red zone. What did you think of their defense?
Well, I mean, we did some good things. We punted one time, so I thought we moved the ball well. But it's one of those. You're in a little bit of an awkward spot because I know if I was in that position, you hate to hear, hey, keep it up. Y'all keep trying hard, pulling for you. But at the same time, I sincerely tried to, the few of the guys that I've competed against, just say, shoot, y'all are better than an 0-11 football team. That's what I saw all week. It was a tough week of preparation. All the stuff they do defensively, the players they have I have a lot of respect for those guys, how hard they're playing. It's a young team for the most part. And you watch the tape. I mean, they had overtime games. They've had games where it's tied late in the fourth. I mean, very easily could be 3-4 win team. But I tried to just say, shoot, go get one. Because you do feel for a team like that. Shoot, those guys are pros and are good players, and you're going to talk about 12 straight weeks. How tough it was to lose 4 in a row and be 0-4, and you're talking about 12 weeks now. But really, I thought it was again a defense that created some challenges because of their multiple fronts. I mean, Greg Williams has been a coordinator for a long time. I was able to tell him early in the game, hey, Coach, shoot, you make it tough you make it for a hard week because you just go all week and you're chasing stuff because they do so many different things. But, again, we handled it and we're able to get enough done.
What's been the big difference with Keenan these last 3 weeks? He's almost 500 yards receiving.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, obviously, I think we've always wanted to push him the football. I think we're just kind of, and now will he be able to keep this pace? I mean, you're talking about a pace. I don't know. I mean, I don't know I'd love to know what the record is for consecutive games catching 10 or more balls. Okay.
It was the first guy to have 10 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown.
There you go. So I don't know that's a pace we can keep. It obviously hadn't been a streak that's ever been done. So, but we always try to get him the football, and you know, but I think he's getting into that. He's kind of hit that groove of where I really think he was starting off the season last year. This is kind of how we started the year off last year, and this year it's just taking us a little time. But you know, you think back Denver. I want to say he had 2 touchdowns in the opening Denver game, and he's had some good games early. You don't just have 3 good games and get to 1,000 yards. I mean, so he did something to get to this point, and get to what he's third or fourth, second, third, somewhere in there in the league in catches. So it didn't just happen the last 3 weeks, but it's certainly been an awesome 3 weeks.
Philip, is it like a shooter when the basket gets really big when you're seeing Keenan in the way he's playing right now?
Yeah, he's just a guy, you know. And I'm one of those that really wants to just stay in the moment and enjoy it, but stay because I know how quick it can go to missing him 3 times and throwing 3 interceptions and having a struggling day. But he's just a guy again that's so easy to feel as a quarterback. When I'm back there getting ready to throw it, he's just an easy guy. His body language is very inviting as far as when he's coming in and out of his cuts. I can just see it. I see it easily and well, and some of that is reps, and some of that's just what makes him really good. And, again, the guy's ability to beat man coverage and to understand what the defense is doing is up there with the best in the league.
Compared to where you were earlier this year, 0-4, what does it feel like to be 6-6 and sitting at the top of the AFC West?
Yeah, well, shoot, I didn't think we could get there. Again, I don't say that like I was throwing in the towel in the division. I just didn't think that they'd fall back to us that far. Sitting at 0-4, I remember having the thought, hey, heck with Kansas City and the division. Let's just see if we can fight our way back into the mix. And that's why you keep going, though, because you never know. And now you're sitting there, 3 teams right there, you know, 6-6, and we all play each other, and we all have tough opponents besides each other, starting with Washington this week. So we know how tough it is to win this league. You see it every week. You look all over the league and see, you know, the Ravens at home beating the Lions and Minnesota going and beating Atlanta and Atlanta. And you go on and on every week. You never know. So we'll have our hands full with a good Washington team on Sunday.
When you have a team that you're obviously more talented than, and you're thinking about what happened last year, you guys have a good no turnover streak. Is that something you guys think? Just make sure you don't give them the ball and you keep them in the game.
Well, yeah, I think the way we've been playing, again, we've been playing really aggressive, though. I mean, you know, we've been going after teams and not just kind of trying to play this ball control deal. It ended up being very ball control today. I think we had 3 possessions in the first half, maybe 4, to get to 9 there, that 2-minute drive. We sustained drives and had a lot of completions and some good first, second down runs, which that's where they were number 1 in the league, is getting you behind the chains, negative runs. But I had that going into my head this week. Hey, throw completions. Don't try to do too much. And if we don't turn it over, you feel like you're going to be in position to win the game. Now, then all of a sudden it's 19-10, and it's right there, and you know, hey, we got to go win it. It wasn't one of those play not to lose, because I think we've all done that before. But it was definitely in the front of my mind was don't turn it over, take what they give you. You know, because I think it very easily, coming off last week's game, there's all these big plays, and we were just rolling just to say, hey, let's just start ripping it all over the place. That's when you get tips and interceptions and bad things happen, and then you're fighting an uphill battle.
So what the offense struggles to finish a little bit. The way Travis was able to respond to that first miss to make 4 field goals, how big was that? What do you think of all this bigger change going on in your favor?
It's tough. I mean, again, I don't know Travis very well. He's a pro kicker. I know he had a good year in 15 in Cleveland. Obviously, he missed the first one today, and then he had one that got blocked. However, it went through. It looked like a pass that went through the goalpost. But he did do a nice job of selling in and making them shoot. He made the rest of them, made the PAT. Yeah, I don't. Obviously, if you got a bolt on your helmet and you're out there, you believe in your teammates. Certainly, it hasn't been ideal with a kicking situation. And now that you're in December and you know these games, every play matters. Again, hopefully he can settle in and whatever as we move forward and everything will go smooth.
He also moved into 7th on the
Yeah, well, again, I don't think I need to reiterate my feelings about that. I can't imagine how tough that was today after being the man there for 210 games trotting out there. It's something that's very meaningful, I know, to him. And shoot, I know I'm very thankful each time I go out there and continue however many it's been in a row. But I think too, though, I think that's one of those that you probably end up going. It can go back and forth for a while. Hopefully, I can't imagine Eli being done just yet, and I certainly hope not to be. So those are kind of fluid as we move forward. But I think it is pretty neat seeing shoot Ben's right there as well. The three of us that are in that same class that are kind of all up there, moving all around, and with some guys again. There were posters on my wall, so it certainly is special.
What does it mean as an offense for your defense to continue to get the ball like they've been?
Yeah, I don't know exactly the numbers, but I think we're in the last 8 weeks or something. We're one in the league in turnover differential. And one thing I do know that's all these stats we can make them read a lot of different things. If your turnover margin is where we are, you should win 6 of 8. That is a direct correlation to winning. Not turning the football over and getting turnovers. That's as direct as you're going to get. So it's been awesome for us not to turn it over. And, again, our defense continues to get the ball back. The sack fumble Joey made was huge right there. That was one of those, hey, it's fixing to go to 19-13. I was over there saying, here comes draw or screen and kick a field goal and kick it off with 5 minutes left and make us go do something. We got the sack fumble, which there, to me, that was huge because it was about to be a different situation. One of those where offensively we go 3 and out and punt. They're looking to drive and score, beat us 20-19, and Joey comes up with a sack fumble. So they continue to get turnovers in key times also.